The findings of the 2019 Global Risk Landscape Report reflect a globalized, interconnected world, and one in which press and hype cycles are influencing businesses' assessment of risk more than ever. This year, business leaders across EMEA, Asia Pacific, and the Americas agree that damage to reputation, cybercrime, and economic slowdown were their top 3 current threats. This is the first time in 3 years that the top 3 risks for business leaders have shifted away from including regulatory risk. Why do we think that damage to reputation, cybercrime, and economic slowdown are considered the top 3 risks for businesses in 2019?
The global cost of cybercrime over the last few years has soared and is now estimated to stand at about $6 trillion. The incidence of cybercrime has also increased by about 50%. One of the recent developments for businesses is the introduction of GDPR. I think there have been a number of quite well publicised cases over the last few years where there have been data breaches. That is now having to be reported to the data protection officers, it's having to be reported to the government. 1 in 3 businesses reported that actually they have suffered damage to their business as a result of reputational issues. Because it takes an awful long time to build up the value of a brand, you can destroy it overnight. Social media is a bit like running a business in a glass box. Everything that happens in that business can all go out on social media, and at some point they'll filter out into the wider marketplace. That business is totally transparent, and that really does have an impact.
How can organisations create a balance between mitigating short-term risks based on media hype and long-standing risks which may affect their business operations?
I think it's very easy to be overloaded by media hype all day, every day, and it's very easy to get information overload. There is quite a rigorous process required to try and sift out the wheat from the chaff, to try and be able to rationalise that and synthesise that so that you start to focus on the things that really are important, and you can then discard some of the things that are less important. About 30% of businesses that we surveyed actually said that they had been significantly affected by media hype. In the oil and gas sector, that was around about half. And it can be quite dangerous, because if a business gets its risks skewed and slanted towards hype that might or might not happen, the risks that really are there, certainly for the next 5 or 10 years, still the key risks.
What should businesses be doing to better manage these risks?
So 62% of businesses felt that their risk registers weren't sufficiently connected. The risks were isolated and were disparate and weren't actually joined up. Instead of being an issue for one part of the business, it needs to become something that's a part of the whole business. It needs to be infused and imbued into the whole business rather than just in one part of it. So it becomes a responsibility of many rather than just a few. And that's important, because if a business is to be resilient, then everyone has to take ownership for ensuring its strengths can be delivered, but also ensuring that its weaknesses can be reduced and mitigated. But businesses need to respond to the risks in a proportionate way to make sure that business has the resilience to go forward successfully.
Every business continues to develop its own definition of risk and its own way of dealing with it. We are seeing their approach come under more scrutiny than ever, but now there's an opportunity to become a voice of authority. Proper risk management can enable businesses to flourish under consumers' confidence and the demonstration of shared values.